there is too much one-way communications in lectures and workshops and in regular business meetings. And what we try to do is a very, very simple but powerful interaction tool, and this is Mentimeter.
And that experience that happens in that room, that is the reason why Mentimeter grows. That the product is the reason why Mentimeter will be successful. You created a product for a specific market that people are willing to hopefully pay for. I would experiment much more I would say in life. That actually one of our core values at Mentimeter is work smart. Building Mentimeter, building an innovative product, building kind of a product that will take over the world someday.
Hello to all our friends and fans. This is Michael VIRARDI, welcoming you to our 6th episode of the Zoom In with VIRARDI series, which zooms into best company practices and success stories. Today's success story comes all the way from Sweden, and it is Sweden's fastest growing startup, which is called Mentimeter. My guest for today is Johnny Warström, who's an engineer by profession, and he has graduated from the Royal Institute of Engineering in Stockholm. He's a 2-time volunteer, once in Tanzania and once in Bolivia, and he loves adventures, and he's on his biggest one yet, which is Mentimeter. What is Mentimeter? As I said earlier, it is Sweden's fastest growing startup, and Johnny is the CEO and also co-founder. Mentimeter's vision is to transform presentations and meetings into fun and interactive experiences. It is a beautifully collaborative and interactive presentation software, one that I have used in the past and I'm still using very successfully to the delight of my audiences, that lets presenters do instant audience feedback to engage and energize their audience with a click of a button. It has more than 20 million users in over 100 countries, and they are on their way of making the world a better place, one presentation at a time, as their motto is. With this in mind, I welcome Johnny Warström to the Zoom In with VIRARDI series. Johnny, it is a pleasure and an honor to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks.
It's a pleasure, Johnny. So take us from the beginning. Let us know about your startup. It has attracted the attention of the BBC. I saw a great interview recently.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about your startup, Johnny.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you introduced me with, we want to make meetings and presentations fun and interactive. That's kind of our passion in life. And it started actually out with me and my co-founders being in too many borings and too many disengaging meetings at our former jobs. My friends were consultants and I worked in business development. And our common denominator was a lot of meetings, a lot of presentations, both on the presenter side, but also on the participant side. And we did really miss that type of like simple to use software that which can just bring up your phones and create that interactive feeling in the meeting. So we decided to hack it away on our own and create it on our own. And it became a success at our former jobs, at friends' works, and then we just continue working on it.
From boredom to stardom, and Mentimeter has worked. So,
yeah.
Which is your target group? Is it trainers like myself, or even business people, or anybody else that it doesn't come to mind now?
Well, we come from a training background, so business training, and so we come from the field that you're working in and consultancy. But those two groups today is about 40% only of our customer base. So we have a lot more. One of our biggest bases, about 25% of our customer base are teachers. So university and high school and up teachers who engage students during lectures. Of course, we also have it's a smaller target group, but more smaller events, conferences is also a target group of ours. And business leaders in general. Actually, our average audience size is about 20 people. So the average people engaged in a meeting is actually 20 people, which is a bit lower than you would assume when you look at the larger conferences where these tools are normally used. But it's because a lot of our customers use it in workshops and smaller meetings to gauge their audience even then.
Excellent, it's true. I used it in a small size group. I also used it in a large auditorium. It worked both times. And here I have to make mention and say a big thank you to Baris Thomas and Dino Simeonidis, two great trainers that I've seen them first using the tool. That's from where I found out. And I'm so happy that we met also, and so happy to be having you here. So after the BBC got notice and I saw you appearing on their stage, you were very comfortable. Congratulations. Not many people appearing on the BBC would have been as comfortable and as humorous as you were. You were making the reporter laugh and also learn at the same time. So did that raise expectations? Did it help your business, but also did it raise customer service demands?
Well, of course, we got some positive feedback from it, absolutely. Although our main go-to-market and the way that we attract customers is not through this kind of big bangs like the BBC interview or articles in newspaper. It's actually mainly through what you are actually doing. Like you actually are standing in front of people, and that experience that happens in that room, that is the reason why Mentimeter grows. And thousands and thousands and thousands of those situations happens every day around the world. And that is the reason for our growth. So absolutely, BBC gave us some extra swoosh on top, of course. And it's always fun for the team to kind of see us on that stage. But the main reason for the success and the continuous growth is what happens when the product is used and loved.
True, because at one of my lectures, at one of my workshops, it was the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of the European University of Cyprus, which, if I'm not mistaken, has gotten in contact with your team, and you are positively proceeding forward.
Yeah, but and it's so. That's one thing that we really committed to when we started working full time. It was 4 years ago when we started working full time with Mentimeter, and for us, it was extremely important that we were a product-first company, that the product is the reason why Mentimeter will be successful. And we had 6 engineers working on the product, and we had 1 marketer and no salespeople. And it was only after 2.5 years of working with Mentimeter that we employed our first salesperson. Like really making the product speak for itself and making users kind of feel what you're experiencing at those sessions, and you're telling me is what we want everyone to experience, and that is the reason why then we grow and continue to be successful. So that is really, I'm really happy to hear that from your experience, because that's really where we want to come with the company when we started.
Excellent. Do you perform any satisfaction surveys? And if yes, how do you process the results?
We do both quantitative and qualitative. So the quantitative, we use the Net Promoter Score, like a classic, would you recommend Mentimeter to friends and colleagues? We have about 75 in Net Promoter Score, so off the roof in comparing to whatever company you compare it to. And it's just showing, it just putting numbers on our growth pretty much. Like the reason why we grow so heavily is because we have such a love for our products. We also do qualitative, where we gather continuous feedback from our users in like different type of users, like really innovative users. We listen to what they feel that would be the future of Mentimeter. Like what do they see in product development that we might not have seen? And also in maybe a more mature audience group where what do they need to be more successful with the product? So they might not be as innovative as the kind of the evangelists out there, but they have clear demands on how a product as Mentimeter need to work for them. So we listen very, very closely for our customers. We use daily chats. We engage with our customers on a daily and hourly basis through our platform.
I have to vouch for that because you engaged with me personally, the CEO of the company. And this has made me an evangelist and a loyal practitioner, but it's helping a lot. It's helping a lot. So I love the way you think. No salespeople for a long time. There was only one hired. People are doing the word of mouth for you, and these people are gaining in terms of using the product. So were you always this business-minded, oriented, and thinking this way? I mean, if I ask somebody, the BBC did a report on you, they would be so happy, but you just put that says social on the top. It's people like you, Michael, and trainers who are giving us the business, down to earth. And I find it extremely positive. And I want to ask you, how was your childhood influenced and your career path? How has it influenced your career path? And if you were always this business-minded, oriented?
Well, this business mind, I wouldn't say from start. I grew up in a small town in Sweden, like in mid-Sweden. You can say rural, almost rednecks Sweden, if there's such a place. No, and I really liked kind of math, and that's why I applied to university, at engineering university. And I think it was really at KTH, the Royal Institute of Technology in Stockholm, where I found my friends and people that I surrounded myself with that were extremely driven and did a lot of projects, started their companies on their own, engaged in social activities at school. And that is really when I found out that that is something that I like to pursue, both like being engaged with the people as people. Like I really found that drive that they had to be very
entrepreneurial,
entrepreneurship, and very liking into. We found each other in that, and then so I had a couple of side companies and projects, even at university. I've started 3 companies before Mentimeter, but they're not really taken off. They've just been fun side things. And where Mentimeter is, I think, the result of all of those the background of those projects, of those interactions, of those learnings that are boiled down to what we now are doing. So I don't think neither my parents or anyone in my extended family are entrepreneurs. So I don't have it from birth somehow. It's much came from the people that I've surrounded myself with at university, I would say.
So if I round it up, I would say that the people that you hang around with, the institute that you've been there, because I from what I understood, they're pushing people to become more entrepreneurial. And last but not least, from trying other ventures, and when you lost, you didn't lose the lesson, and the lessons that you brought with you today at Mentimeter.
Yeah, exactly. And the founders of Spotify were 2 years older than us at KTH. So they were engineers at computer science at KTH just 2 years prior to when I studied.
At the same university, same institute, yes.
Same institute. And the Klarna people that are building Klarna now, the iSettle people that are building iSettle. So generations of kind of entrepreneurs has gone through that university, which also makes you closer to that path, which of course opens up the possibility of you actually pursuing that as well.
Excellent. Before I come with 3 questions for our millennial friends and anyone who's very entrepreneurial, I would like to ask one last question when it comes to you. What's the biggest challenge you have in your business or your career or your life right now? You can choose any of the 3. What's the biggest challenge you have in your career, your business, or your life right now?
Wow. I would say that the thing I spend the most time at the moment is to find as we grow, we of course grow with more people than we grew with 2 years ago, and continue to hire and finding the high quality candidates that then become colleagues to us. That is for me the thing that I spend the most of my time with, because it is with those colleagues that we will build the future of Mentimeter, and the future of Mentimeter is kind of everything that is. So that I would say that's the biggest challenge that I have right now. Everything is pretty much we're rolling on. I'm actually getting married this summer, so on the personal side, it's going great.
Congratulations! Congratulations! I wish your family to grow even bigger.
Thank you.
So let's go now to our new generation. What tips would you give the new generation on how to materialize and monetize on their ideas?
Well, I think that we had kind of a different way of becoming entrepreneurs compared to kind of the stereotype of entrepreneurs. I would say the stereotype would be that you come up with an idea in the basement somewhere, you quit your job, you go out, raise some money, and then you go all in on the idea. We had an idea. We spent 3 months, weekends, hacked away on that, created an alpha and brought it back to work and iterated it very much like 6 to 12 months before we understood that product really was something to build on. And if I would give a tip from my experience is that is it's a less of a risk and you become more attuned to your customers because you're super customer centric and you don't go into the entrepreneurial track until you really understand that you hit something that customers really need. So that would be my kind of tip to don't hurry, take your time. If it takes 6 months, keep your day job and kind of fine tune that product or service or whatever you're selling until you really hit the kind of the mark where you can go all in and do. Of course, there's still a big risk of doing it, but you can minimize that risk.
But how do you know that you've hit it? How do you know that you've hit it? Is there any indications? Or is your gut feeling?
So hard, yeah. This is so hard. It's called product market fit when you find that balance that you created a product for a specific market that people are willing to hopefully pay for. Like the payment here, I would say is a very important thing. I've never done free consumer products. I'm not really sure about that segment, but finding a product to a specific market that people are willing to pay for, and I would say that like find someone who's willing to pay for it. If that's 5 people, 5 organizations, 10 organizations, you probably have something.
Okay, excellent. As a young generation entrepreneur, where would you invest for the future? Where would you advise people to invest for the future?
I would experiment much more in I would say in life. Like if it's education, if it's type of work, if it's country, if it's the type of task, the role that you're after, test it out, experiment, and see where you find your place. Because that's something that also you can do between your 18 and 30. That's really experimenting and learn from different industry, different roles. And when you find that thing that just feels right after you tested a wide range of things, that's when you go deep. That's really when you kind of hit something and then you go deep in it and become an expert in whatever field that you've found to be your field. And that's, if I would give one tip, it would be that.
Dare to experiment. Okay, what's the name of your wife-to-be, Johnny?
Hannah.
Hannah, so this is a question for Hannah. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but have you achieved work-life balance, or are you in the process of achieving it?
Actually, one of our core values at Mentimeter is work smart, and work smart. One part of work smart is the work-life balance. So it's actually a fundamental part of how we see our business. So I average about 40 to 50 hours a week working. And I assume and I demand that all of my colleagues also do that. Building Mentimeter, building an innovative product, building kind of a product that will take over the world someday, it takes a marathon to accomplish that. And we cannot run 80, 90 hours a week and keep that creativity and that stamina that we need to have. So I would say that definitely I've achieved work-life balance.
Excellent. And because I am pretty sure you will conquer the world together with your colleagues, a last message from Johnny Warström to our friends and fans here at the Zoom In with Virardi series.
Well, I'm just, thank you so much for engaging with me. I'm so happy when everyone reached out to me and to my colleagues and let us know about the experience that they had with Mentimeter. And I just want you to continue to do that. Like, email me personally at johnny@Mentimeter or reach out through LinkedIn or through our chat at Mentimeter. But keep doing that and give us either love or just feedback on how we can improve. So thank you very much, everyone.
It's a pleasure, Johnny. Just to recap before we close, and I will be providing all the contact details for Johnny and his startup. Humble, happy, and above all, capable. Johnny Warström has shown us that to have a Net Promoter Score of 75 and have loyal customers, it's important that you love what you do. There's no need to have salespeople around as long as your product is a viable product, a great product that provides value to the end user. And at the end of the day, surround yourself with capable people. Go to great institutes like the institute that Johnny has attended, and believe in yourself and in your colleagues, because no man or woman is an island. Thank you very much, Johnny, for that, and looking forward to having you back at our Zoom In with Virardi series.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.